So, hi everybody and welcome back. This is our C++ tutorial series for absolute beginners. This is video 39, and in this video we continue with our exercise solutions. So, we finished a very big part, which was comparing the scores, and now we see the next line, and we see, oh, this line we already did now, because we changed here some informations which was important for us, and this line we already have redefined and which we don't need anymore, right? So let's kick it out, and which means it's easier for us to finish this code. Perfect. Let's go on. So, and the next line says I want to calculate the points. Oh, that's interesting. So what we have to do is we have now write the points in the new database. Of course, you could write here something to visualize this all. You could write here for loop to visualize all if you want. I did this not, and I have not still not reset this new players too, but let's go on because I make it all in one go here. And then let's concentrate us on this point. So I want to calculate the points. Actually, calculating the points, it's not difficult. But how we are doing this? This is the question. That's the point why we do this exercise, to solve not problems. When I say problem in programming, it means not a problem in general language, because most time I say something like how we solve this problem. Problem means here how we solve this task, and a problem can be solved most times. So if you hear the word problem in programming, means most times, yeah, solve this task. So how we are solving this one, and there are different ways, and I take one thing. I want to calculate the points, which means I just go through the database, the new created database, because here it's created, it's included, and I just add them together. That's it. It's very simple and straightforward. And let's get into it. But we need again a for loop, because we want not go one by one, right? Let's write it for, and then we have our condition, the start condition, like all time. I use and I0, okay, that we already trained a little bit so far, I hope. Then end condition is very important to know the end condition, and we know it's again 10. I know it's 10, and I write here 10 because I start with 0. That's why I make this less sign. Very important. If you make here an equal sign, then you can't say 10 here. Then you have to say 9, because it starts with 0. But we make less than 10, then we have 10 signs. And we increment this all time by 1. All right, so far we trained already. Then we know we need this body with curly braces, and this is our loop body. Perfect. But you know what? I want not use the for loop this time. I showed you. Because let's make this so Control-C for commenting. And let's use this time, or let's kick it out. Let's use this time a while loop, because I said we should train a little bit our keywords. And actually we can use a for loop. We can change a for loop to a while loop too, because they are equivalent, almost equivalent, and from behavior. And now let's use a while loop. So how we do a while loop? In this case, a for loop would be, yeah, the same, I think. And so, but let's train a while loop. Okay, what was it again with a while loop? What we need? First of all, let's write while. That was our keyword. Then we have here our condition. And then we have to write here the condition, right? And then we have this body. Oops. And then we will have here a condition controlling variable. And this condition controlling variable here, we have to write. And now we are making it a little bit more, yes, we have to fit it to our program, this one, controlling variable. What we need, we need again 10 loops. Okay, I can write something then simple like int number of let's call it number of rounds. This time I could also use a short I because I could, but here I want to make a variable name because it should be clear that this one, because it's not included here in this while loop. In the for loop, for example, it is absolute clear. This I belongs to this for loop. Is the start point. In this case, this variable here could be also on top anywhere. Must be not. Normally you make it directly here near the while loop, but it can be changed. And that's why we use here a longer name, which makes perhaps you would even connect this anyhow if you want. But in my case, I just write here in number of rounds. Okay, and then I initialize this with, let's say, I want number of rounds, 10 rounds I want, right? This is the point. I want 10 rounds. And then I say, number here we learned in a while loop, we have to write a condition. And a condition is all time when you hear something with condition. Most time a comparison. So we write here our number of rounds, the variable. As long this one is less than 10, then it should be do something. Because right now it is actually 10. That's not true. So we have to write it another way. We have to say, that was wrong. I made it wrong. I want 10 rounds, but I have to start with 0 actually. And why that? Because, okay, I could write this here other way too, but I want 10 rounds, but the start point is 0. And here in the condition I write that I want 10 rounds. So as long as the number of rounds is less than 10, which means 10 rounds, I want that you go into the loop. That was the point. So let's continue. Okay, and there is one thing very important when you write a while loop. This increment from a for loop is not here in the condition, it is in the body itself. And we write this increment here, and we learned there are different ways. You can write the long way, which is this one, and we learned this one is equivalent to write it the short way, which you should get used to it too. For example, this one. And that's why this one are the same here. Careful here, one more thing what we learned so far, that this plus increment can stay here in front too, and it has then a different meaning. What was the different meaning about in front and behind? The different meaning is here the number is first used and then incremented, and if it's here in the first state, it is incremented and then used. Right, something like that. You should know this. We have made there an increment exercise. So with that, we have set up our while loop so far. But now how we solve our problem, because this was just a repetition a little bit. So we have all repeated the stuff which we should know so far. And now I want to calculate the points. So how I'm calculating with this structure now the points. So what we do is we have two databases created, this one and this one. And now I just calculated. I take this database. This is a variable name. Careful, that's all time, but an array variable name. It's called an array variable name. Okay, I take this one, which was new database player 1. Let me copy this one again. It's all time nice. Copy, and I use this one. Okay, I have this variable name. Careful, this 10, I don't know if I use that, so I start with 0 here. And what I want to do is now, while this looping, right, they should calculate this points. So here is something missing, right? What is missing? There is actually much missing, but I have created a new variable, a score points variable for player number 1. So let's do this here too. Normally you would not create this here at this point. It would change the variable on top anywhere. But let's do it here at this point, will not harm us. So I have int number of rounds, and now I create int player 1 and score. Very descriptive, so you know when you read what it should. At start he got 0 initialized, and I make this one for my second player as well. Control this one and paste this one. So, and here for player 2, this is the end score, and this end score will be calculated just together. Okay, now the point is I have now the end score. Now how I calculate this in my loop, I get the new database player 1, so I'm working for player 1 now, and I say okay, now how I use this loop, because in the for loop it was very easy. I used here just this I indicator, and here actually I have not this I indicator, but I have this number of rounds, right? And this one I can use here too. So now I have the number of rounds. It starts with 0, perfect. New database player number of rounds, and then the next step is, okay, now I know how to use this database in a while loop, but how I calculate now this points, right? This is the next step what we are going to do, and what we are doing is we take this database, we are on 0 here, which is the first one, then we just take this number and add them all time together and add it to the end score later. And how we are doing this? Very easy actually. We copy this, what I'm here, this player end 1 score. So I paste this here, and then I assign it to this one. And almost finished, but we have still a problem here, and here a semicolon of course. But this one will not work, right? Why not? So this one is taking the player end score, is a int. This one is taking the database for number 0, and then it's assigning, and in the next round it will overwrite the score, right? That's the problem here. In the next round it will overwrite all time the score, but we want add these numbers here together. So how we are doing this one, and we are just adding 2 numbers together, and let's see, there are again different kind of solutions, and one very simple solution is, what you should do, you take here the player 1 and score and just add it to the new one, right? And this is a very simple solution, straightforward solution. And then you add this one to the end score, because he takes the score from the last one, then adds the new number in it, and all the stuff he adds again back to the score. I think that could work. I hope. That is the hope of a developer, that this works, and if not, then we have to change it. But before we go on, very important, change the code. So what we do is just start. First of all, we hope, perhaps I made a mistake, you know, I don't know. Perhaps. And then I call this Superman, and I have no results. That's bad. Like I said, you should perhaps write really here a output screen to make the your life with checking easier. I did it not, but what I'm going to do is I make here debug, and I check this one more time with debug, and we learn it with debug. And at this point we see number of rounds 0, yes, because this line means I'm in front, I'm not in the while loop right now. The player end score 0, 0, perfect. It has taken over these numbers. Now I go over it, I'm in, and then I go to the end result. I'm actually interested in the result. Let's go on and see what happens. I stop at 9 because this is the last round. And now, oh, I made a mistake actually. Let me start this debug fast again, because I want not go to the end actually, or I must calculate too much myself. I'm too lazy to calculate this, because I want just to compare here the first two numbers. So let's stop here at 1 or 2, because at the end I have to calculate so much. So, and let's see what happens if this expectation comes true. So the first round is not done. Now the first round is finished. And now we will see the first round. It says new database player 1. No, end score, player 1, end score is 43. Is this true? Now you have checked this debug value with that what you expect. And at this point I expect, let's see, player end score 1 plus new data player 1, 2. Is this right? Is this right? 43, yes, it's indeed this one, because he won there. That was determined here actually. So that's a little bit difficult to compare, right? Now we see that the bug has also, yeah, it's a little bit too difficult to follow the bug. It's not too difficult, but as a starter, it is still difficult. And I think, okay, it's, if you train this one will be very easy to follow. But what I want to point out here is the thing I said you, sometimes you can write your own output, right? Your own, for example, for loop to print out stats for development. And in this case, it would be make a very, it would make sense to write this one. And that's why, because we can't check this really. I finished this code here fast. Then I finish the video and then I write this output code, this time offline. And next time we will continue and I show you this output code there. Because you see, the debug works fine, but this time it is connected to this code here on top. And this one is, yeah, a little bit harder to read, let's say it so. And yeah, let's continue first with this one, and then next video I show you how we make a outprint here and make all things a little bit more easy for us. So we have player end score. This should work, I hope. And the same goes actually for the player 2. Very easy. I copy this one. It's called reusing, not copying. But there is all time, there is all time this joke. The best skill of a programmer is copy paste, and that's anyhow true. And so here we have here the second one, and here we have player 2 end score, because this one, and here very important for player 2. And you see, it's very important that you change the things here, right? And I save this, and I checked this one more time, but this time without the bug, because next time we will do this. Here I check only that here is no arrow on the bottom, right? If there is any arrow on the bottom, right, I don't know, any matching arrows or something like that, then we have this one. So here I stop this video. I will write offline this extra check and explain it in the next one. We are anyway almost finished, because we are almost here, and see you in the next. Bye.